Alright, so now I want to look at he and I kissed. So this is pretty simple in that, oops, we need a new, every time I refresh it gets rid of this. Okay, we need a new kiss prime. And it's going to be a plus because in this case, this and is doing that smushing summation. And I'm going to have two pronouns here. Just going to put these guys like that, like so. And so the issue here is that the he has to be third singular, and this has to be first singular. And then the question is the identity of these two elements here. So we already know that we've sort of solved this already, that, excuse me, he could be x1 or x2. So I'm just going to make this x1, but there is an ambiguity here. And then the question is what this could be. Well, now it has to actually be first. And so, there's only one speaker here, so it has to be x3. So this is going to be x3. All right, and now the question is, what is this going to be like with respect to M5 and C? Okay, so again, there is an ambiguity here. You could have x2 in this case, but I'm just not going to worry about it. Now, this is true if and only if. All right, and we haven't really talked about what to do for these cases here. But if we just follow blindly our system and we substitute in this whole thing based on our rules. So the semantic value of this with respect to M5 and C is in the semantic value of this prime with respect to M5 and C. And so now the question is, what is the semantic value of this whole thing? And so we didn't directly talk about it in class, but intuitively, this plus just translates as a summation on these two things. So another way of saying this is that this whole thing can be rewritten as this. That. Okay, so that this plus this has to be in this. All right, and now we can, oh, I skipped a step here. I'm so sorry. I was so worried. I'm just going to come back and tell you what that is. So I didn't actually do, because we'd already done this. So this is, whoops, g of x2. And this is g of x2. Okay. So something similar happens here. So this is, whoops, g of x1 plus g of x3. Okay, and now I'm going to substitute g of x1 is this. G of x3 is speaker, right? And kiss is this. Oh, I see. Copied that whole lot. Okay. And then this whole thing is false because this is not in there. Now we could ask, what happens if we did x2 instead? But remember, x2 is apparently our white horse, is that right? And there, it's also not in. So in both cases, it's going to be false. Okay, the last two. You encircled me, and you encircled me. So I put this 2 here to mean you plural because English lacks that you plural. But intuitively, I'm going to just copy this. I'm going to learn my lesson finally. Just copy this. So intuitively, in this case, I'm dealing with, okay, this is a 2-place verb, encircle, and I'm dealing with something that's here, second plural, and oops, comma, another thing. That is first person singular. All right, we already know that has to be x3. That's why I left this there. So we know that. And so the question is, what is second plural? And if you go back over here, I actually have it. Wait, this is why I put it over here. It has to be x6. The only thing that is both second person and plural is that. All right, so this is x6. And that's the only possibility for this. And then this is true. Excuse me. Hopefully my battery won't die before we finish. If and only if. And now we're dealing with an ordered pair being in the semantic value of encircle prime with respect to N5 and C. Okay, and so we're dealing with 2 of these. Okay, so the first one is this little x6 doohickey. And the second one is x3. Okay, and so this unfortunately is, I need to try to find a way to, okay, so I need to do that because you can't have multi-line equations in this. Okay. And now, this is true if and only if, right? And then we get this g of x6. And now g of x3 is in this. Now we substitute. So that's g of x3. And g of x6 is that summation. And then circle is right here. And then this is, I believe it turns out to be true. That's how I, at least when I was looking at this while I was making it, it's in fact true. Okay, so that's that one. All right, so the last one that we have to do is you and you encircled me. And so the idea here is that each of these is singular, and it's those two singular together that give us our answer. So in this case, I actually am going to use the u. I'm going to assume that the u is a plus. And I'm trying to put these guys together. Okay, and so there are 2 possibilities here, and they are over here. just x4 and x5 or x5 and x4. It really doesn't matter in the end. So I'm just going to write x4 and x5 here. And then this is second singular. This is second singular. If I can get to the singular. And this is now going to be this whole thing. Yeah. Okay, so that's unfortunately gonna be on several lines, but I mean, you sort of know what's there. I'm not gonna bother trying to make that work. And this is M5C plus that. And I really should try to make that work. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. Right, so that's this. And then I substitute. So this is just write about g of x. Sub 4. And this is g of x5. And this is g of x3. And now I can actually do my substitution for good. Bless you, Sam. Okay, so g of x3 works out to this. I actually don't know which one is 4 and which one is 5, but let's look. G of x4, frowny, smiley. Okay. Okay.
Need water.
Okay, Sam, just one sec. Almost done. And now, this is going to work out the same. I mean, we should have just said this can work out the same to this because of the meaning of the plural. So this is going to be true because this and this is in a circle. And that's it. And we're done. Enjoy. Good night.